Hi, thanks for watching BibleMountain.com. In this video we're going to read Exodus 34:21 through 24 and see an example of what it looks like to trust God instead of worrying. So we'll start reading in verse 21. The context of this is the Israelites are at Mount Sinai. They're receiving the Mosaic Law. These verses contain some of the commandments that they were given at Mount Sinai. Exodus 34:21. You shall work 6 days, but on the seventh day you shall rest. Even during plowing time and harvest you shall rest. Now I think most people are familiar with the command that was given to the Israelites to rest on the seventh day. That command is repeated here, but there's an additional detail. They were also told that they had to rest on the seventh day even during plowing time and harvest time. Now I grew up on a dairy farm in Pennsylvania, and the field work was very seasonal. In the spring you go out and plow the fields and plant the crops, and then in the fall you go out and harvest the crops. And those activities were dependent on the weather. And so when the weather was good and the fields were fit, there was a lot of pressure to work long days in order to get all the field work done before it would start to rain again. Well, likewise with the Israelites, during plowing time and harvest time, there would have been a lot of pressure to work 7 days a week to get all their field work done. But God told them they could not. They had to rest on the seventh day even during plowing time and harvest time, even when there was a lot of pressure to spend a lot of time in the field to get all their work done. That means the Israelites had to trust God. They had to trust that He would provide enough good weather for them to get all of their field work done, even when they rested on the seventh day during planting time and harvest time. Verse 22, You shall celebrate the Feast of Weeks, that is, the first fruits of the wheat harvest, and the Feast of Ingathering at the turn of the year. The Mosaic Law did several things. It gave the Israelites a law code to regulate their conduct with one another. It also gave them a culture and a religion. Part of having a culture and a religion is having festivals or holidays to celebrate. This verse lists 2 of the festivals or holidays that they were supposed to celebrate every year. Verse 23, 3 times a year all your males are to appear before Yahweh, the God of Israel. For I will drive out nations before you and enlarge your borders, and no man shall covet your land when you go up 3 times a year to appear before Yahweh your God. So here the Israelites were told that 3 times a year all the males had to gather at the tabernacle. Now the problem with that was when all the males were at the tabernacle, that meant that the borders were undefended. It would have been very easy for their enemy to invade the land of Israel and conquer them because no one was defending the border. But God promised them that during that time He would protect them. He would make sure that their enemies did not covet their land, which meant that the enemy would not try to invade the land of Israel while the border was undefended with all the males being at the tabernacle. Now once again, that required the Israelites to trust God. They had to trust that when they went to the tabernacle 3 times a year and left the border undefended, that God would indeed protect them and make sure that their enemy did not invade and conquer them. Now, just as the Israelites had to trust God, so too we need to trust God. And we see this indirectly in a couple verses. First is Philippians 4, verse 6. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known to God. And so here we are commanded not to worry. Now, as we go through life, we come across many problems and threats and risks, and it's very tempting, very easy for us humans to start to worry. Because often when we come across problems, we don't know how we're going to get out of the problem because we can't see the future. But God tells us not to worry. We see that also in 1 Peter 5, verses 6 through 7. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that He may exalt you at the proper time, casting all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you. And so here we're told to cast our anxiety on Him because He cares for us. And so once again, we have to trust God. When we come across problems and risks and threats, and we don't see how we're going to get out of it, and it's very tempting to worry and be stressed about it, we have to not worry and cast our care upon God because He cares for us. We have to trust that He is going to protect us and He is going to take care of us, just as the Israelites had to trust that God would provide enough good weather to bring their crops in, and also that God would protect their border whenever all the males went to the tabernacle. If you haven't joined my email list yet, please do so. First of all, it is free. By signing up, you get immediate access to all my free content. It'll be delivered right to your email inbox. This is the best way to make sure you don't miss out on any of my free content. In order to sign up, go to BibleMountain.com, click on follow. There will be a place there to enter your email address. Once again, thank you for watching BibleMountain.com.